Hey, it's Matt, and welcome to the top 5 battles of the VDL Week 3. You're probably a little confused right now, and that's fine. No, I am not Vortex. Where did he go? Nobody knows. No, Vortex is out for the next week. He's out of town, and he asked me to come in and film the Week 3 top 5 battles of the VDL, and I said yes with absolutely zero hesitation. The format is pretty much going to stay the same with some of my editorial flair, so really hope you guys enjoy. I did not decide the list. It was a list that Vortex and I kind of co-created. It was the 5 battles that he sent to me that he picked, and I think I only switched around 2 battles in the order for what I thought. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into battle number 5. With the number 5 battle this week, we have me, It's Just Matt, and the New England Rock and Roller taking on Orange and the Frederick Klefkes. We're both 1-1 in the season, so a win on either of our ends would do a lot, giving us a little bit of momentum and proving we are meant to be a top half team. I'm really not sure what it is about how I play, but this was another incredibly long game, spanning 77 turns. I believe that this game came down to the prep, with both of us having some super interesting sets, like a fully physically defensive Manaphy, and especially defensive Tarshot Colossal with Flame Body. Right at the beginning of this game, things got super scary, as Orange brought out their weakness policy, Moonlight, Calm Mind, Stored Power, Lunar Blessing, Cresselia, which on paper could take out my entire team, especially when I learned that my Clefable couldn't beat it. But thankfully I was able to bring out my Oricorio safely, which I was really scared about, and he did not know that I was Terra Dark, which rendered Cresselia 100% useless as it had no way of damaging me. After that early scare, a lot of this game was kind of a game of chip damage and switching, with the first Pokemon only being KO'd on turn 45, with my Landorus taking out their 0 physically defensive bulk Donphan. Orange brought out their Chien-Pao actually against that Landorus, which I thought would give me a for sure KO, with my Landorus being at full health, holding a Focus Sash and having Hammer Arm, but they made an incredible play doubling out into Noivern, and from that same Noivern, Switcheroo hindered my Clefable 100% useless the rest of the game, forcing me to play super offensively because I had much more limited Wish using abilities. But once Orange's Colossal and Donphan were gone, I knew it was only about chipping away slowly Orange's remaining Pokemon, for my Choice Scarf Goldengo, which they did not know about yet, to come in and take out the rest of his team. I actually won the game using Struggle, because I only used Make It Rain, and I wore out all of its PP. This was just a superly carefully played game, with both sides making incredibly smart moves, and it kind of just shows how much chip damage can truly matter. It gave me my second win, but probably my first deserved win, and it put Goldengo at number 1 in the KO standings. At battle number 4, we have Carp Cranium and the South Wales Sillybillies against Aryan 3003 and the Kyoto Koraidons. With Carp searching for their first win of the season and Aryan trying to stay undefeated, we saw a relatively offensive team sheet from both sides. The start of the game started out hot, with Carp's Regieleki getting off both Light Screen and Reflect in front of Aryan's Electivire, but a crit Earthquake was able to bypass the screens for a huge setback early in the game for Carp. And just 2 turns later, another critical hit from Aryan allowed his Metagross with Heavy Slam to OHKO Carp's Minior that looked like it would have done serious damage with a Shell Smash behind both screens. Carp needed to catch up super quickly, and was able to dent Aryan's team with their Flygon taking out Electivire on a switch, and the sweet tech of Corrosion Glamora being able to take out Metagross with Toxic and Meteor Beam. But those 2 early crits seemed to wrap up the game for Aryan, with Toxic stalling Toxapex whittling down the rest of Carp's team, sealing their 3rd victory in a row. At battle number 3, we have Weizen and the Turku Skuntanks against Memimem and the Silly Little Slurpuffs. These two went into this game with Weizen being at 1-1 and Memi still searching for their first win. And this was not a very long game, both sides leading with bulky offensive hazard setting Pokemon, including a Gabite from Memi, which you don't get to see often in draft. But this game picked up very quickly, with Weizen's Brute Bonnet up against Memi's Meowscarada. A play rough seemed like a sure play for Memi until we saw the Terra Steel from Weizen's Brute Bonnet, which is able to take out Memi's Meowscarada, Mimikyu, and Iron Bundle while still sitting at 25% health. With 3 months down on Memi's side, this looked like a sure win for Weizen. But this game was not over yet. Memi had to start making predictions, but they ended up working out in his favor, like Thunder Waving with his Rotom Wash on a Gliscor that he predicted correctly would switch out into Metagross, and then Rain Dancing away the sun, allowing his Hydro Pump to take out Weizen's Overqwil from 91% HP. But it didn't take long for Weizen to get their Brute Bonnet back onto the field again, and with a Bullet Seed and 2 Sucker Punches, and an unfortunate Hydro Pump miss, it allowed Weizen to pick up their second win of the season and shoot Brute Bonnet to number 4 in the standings for knockouts. At battle number 2 this week, we have Sandy and the Soul Suckers versus Joe Mama and the Tennessee Sea Titans. With new coach to the league Sandy's first battle, having to use the team that they did not draft this week, searching for their first win of the season, and Joe Mama coming off of a loss last week, both teams had a lot to play for. And we saw that right out of the gate, with Sandy's Alolan Muck getting paralyzed, but being able to poison both Joe's Pincurchin and Frostmoth with its Poison Touch ability. And that poison helped a ton, as even though Frostmoth went Terra Ground, the Sugar Berry from Sandy's Muck let it take a Terra Blast Ground from Frostmoth, and taking it out with a second Zen Headbutt because of the original poison damage. From there, Joe Mama's Electric Seed Unburdened Sneasler came out earlier than probably expected, and because of the defense boost, it was able to survive a Zen Headbutt and set up a Swords Dance, allowing it to take out both the Muck and incoming Moltres from Sandy. It seems like Joe then slipped up a little bit, Dire Clawing the Steel-type Zamazenta when he didn't realize that it wouldn't have affected it, but recovered with their Rising Voltage Raising Bolt, which doubles damage on grounding Pokemon in the electric terrain, OHKOing Sandy's Zamazenta. But with Joe's Frostmoth and Sneasler gone so early, they had nothing left that was able to stop Sandy's Hisuian Goodra, which was able to take out the remaining Pokemon Joe had left standing, giving Sandy a statement victory with a team they didn't even draft. And taking number 1 spot this week, we have Starry and the Proto Boosters taking on Will and the Manchester Morpekos. What an unbelievable game to have this week. Once again, this game was all about the prep, with both coaches bringing some heat. Immediately, the game started with a super supportive Meowscarada, which led with Toxic Spikes, I didn't even know that it had that, with Focus Sash, surviving the U-turn from Dragapult. Will then brought out Lurantis to come in and defog, but again this Meowscarada had it covered, with Skill Swap, meaning that Meowscarada gained the contrary ability, giving it an evasion boost on the defog, while now Will's Lurantis loses the contrary boost, so if it's going to use a move like Superpower or Leaf Storm, it will get the stat drops. That was some incredible prep on Starry's side, but now let's look at some incredible prep on Will's side. His max HP, max defense Lurantis was able to not only KO that Meowscarada, but then survive a close combat from Lucario at -1 defense, revenge killing it with its own superpower and making this game significantly harder for Starry by just turn 4. More crazy sets were shown just a few turns later. A surprise Scarf Spectrier on Starry's side let it OHKO Will's Dragapult with Shadow Ball, making it 4-4 by just the end of turn 8. And of course I'm not done. There were even more crazy, incredible sets shown throughout the game, like having Roar on both sides Bulky Waters, Blastoise from Starry to beat the protecting Speed Boost Blaziken, and Napoleon from Will to start chipping mons after rocks were set up. With the mid-game slowing everything down, both sides were able to make super smart switches and timely hazards to try and gain any momentum. It seemed like Starry made a strange decision, burning a Napoleon that we already knew had only especially offensive moves, but that turned out to win Starry the game, as the choice Scarf Spectrier had Hex, and was able to KO all 3 of Will's remaining Pokemon, including the Crocodile, because they were poisoned by that one layer of toxic spikes that remained that was set on turn 3, winning Starry their 3rd game in a row, bringing it all back to the beginning. And there we have it. That was your top 5 battles of week 3 in the VDL. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If there's anything you think I could do to improve any of these videos, or if you guys know, odd request, were to get the 3D sprites for things like Regieleki and Spectrier. I can't find the animated ones anywhere. But again, thank you guys for watching. I hope I did Vortex justice in this series, and let's get ready for week 4.